Well, so we back. Hit y'all with a little gem before we get into this. When you go out, or we just say Tuesdays. The first and foremost, let me say this, because I don't want to fuck you up. Don't think of Tuesday as a bad day or a day where I'm saying it for a reason, but don't think of Tuesday as a bad day. Let's get that. I don't want you to. That wouldn't be good either. But I would say this much. Be careful on Tuesdays. I'm not saying I don't want to blanket it and make it like every based off of my research, or I want to say research of what I've come across in my studies. Tuesday is a day where conflict can be a little bit more prone to rear its ugly head. This is why elections take place on Tuesdays. What is it, the donkey versus the elephant or some shit? I don't know which one, but anyway, the donkey versus the elephant. I don't know which one is which. Donkey is I don't know if the donkey is a Republican, and I don't know which, none of that shit. But the donkey versus the elephant and all of those shit. This is why they hold the election on these days. Now, one group side voting for one person, and you got another side voting for another person. So it's a conflict. But we'll get into this later on down the line. But and I said it because I looked at the word. I said Tuesday. Now you got two, TU, then you got ES, and then you got day. So on one hand, you can look at it as two ISIS, or the two aspects of ISIS, which is ISIS. You got ISIS and you got Neptines, the light sister and the dark sister. And I'm not talking about bad and good. That comes later. You know, just like the physical body had to come last off from the spiritual aspect. I'm speaking from a high level of thinking, the spiritual aspect. That's the spiritual aspect. Then you have the one. That's one. Then you got two. Not saying necessarily two has to be. I'm saying I don't want you to look at none of these as no negative. I just want you to take this into consideration. The two on one hand can represent a conflict, or two things going against each other, or two things that are not in harmony. Not two itself. We don't want to say two, but it takes two to tango, as they would say. Unless you want to get real inner worky with it and talk about eternal conflict. But even that is two different parts of yourself wrestling with each other. And the balance is the ideal is to be the sambo, play the middle, and balance the shit out or whatever. So when you go out on Tuesdays, or when you have to deal with people, you may have to be a little bit more patient, or if you like a non-confrontational type of person, where you just trying to do everything you need to do in your life just to make sure you all right. And we know you have to go out and deal with other people that may not be of a like mind. I ain't saying take no shit, but you know how you gotta dance around certain shit. Certain shit you gotta just, So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're a firm believer in being kind in your mind, I'd probably say Tuesday would be a good day to try to humble yourself to yourself. And what I mean by that is, let me show you. Yeah, I had to get this one. Because it makes sense. It says, be kind to your mind. Form of that is humbling yourself. When we say humble yourself, I'm not saying humble yourself to somebody else. Or you have to, okay, who cower down. And we're not talking about that. Humbling yourself to yourself means to, in this case, would be to try to put a healthy amount of effort into not engaging in conflict with people. Sometimes shit happens. You just gotta, do what you gotta do, whether it be on a verbal, especially on a physical level. But you go out. Don't let some shit, you go to work or you out and about or some shit happen on the tour, you want driving and shit, road rage and all that shit, whatever. You out and about and some weirdo shit happen or some shit that anger you happen or somebody in their little funky bag. Keep this in mind and try to, before you engage with them, if you can, take the other route, go around them or whatever. I'm talking about not just on the road either, just life. Try to zigzag that shit and be mindful of it on Tuesday. Because just because we go out with positive mentalities doesn't mean that everybody else in the world does. So you can be having the best day in the world and then go to work or school or whatever place you go where you may have to engage socially, and it may be a tad bit of a greater chance that somebody else is in their little funk or whatever and trying to, they say misery loves company, so try to avoid that. That Xanarary thing, that's just another word for the supreme being. Harry, Horus, you got Zana. I had to do a little more. Shout out to the homie Zana Zane. You know who you are if you watching this. Oh, Zana Zane. My little homie, man. Well, my own kind of be little. She's like a few years younger than me, but that's the home girl. So yeah, man. Be aware of that. Or just keep that in mind on Tuesdays. But we're not saying Tuesday is a bad day. Don't think, just wake up every day and make a good day a good day, or try to make a day a good day, but put a little bit more extra effort in on a Tuesday. Put a little bit more extra effort in walking on sunshine with it, or not let how you say this, that devil ain't gonna steal my joy. Put a little bit more effort in that on a Tuesday, because when you're out and about dealing with people, or when you're just dealing with whoever, So, with that being said, we'll get back into this. Now, we're finna go into finna get on our matrix shit. But I'll give you a, go ahead and get into it now. I really kind of wanted to wait till the equinox, but I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you now. Maybe this will save you from eating that ham on Easter Sunday and shit. So for one, you know, of course, before she passed, Aaliyah was supposed to be in the Matrix, right? I think she's supposed to be in the second and the third one. I was watching the video on her yesterday, and I must say, me included, I don't think, he's acting like an elitist. It's like, no, I put myself in that box too, and not all of us, because other people saying, I heard somebody say something, and I caught what they were saying, and it was the craziest thing, because she was talking about the actual, what actually happened, or how it was given to us, but it was some spiritual shit along with it. And all I see is this. Well, I'll say that for Friday. But I will go here. I will say this much right here. A fucking crop duster. Now, I never really, it didn't hit me to the dude. I heard the dude say, was it a dude or a girl? I think it was a dude. There was a bunch of different fans just, speaking about how much they loved and giving their account, or how they felt about, or sharing how they was affected by her death in the video. So when the dude was like, he was like, man, he said, man, what the fuck was Aaliyah doing on a crop duster? Now, I never really thought about that to that degree. And he was like, man, ain't no way in hell she's supposed to be on no crop duster. You mean to tell me she couldn't get a Learjet, one of the biggest stars in the world, and she on a fucking crop duster? And the more and more he said, the more and more I started feeling like a dumbass. I was like, you know what? I've never went as deep with he's going with that, but he's making a fucking point. I'm like, a fucking crop duster. And they say the reason she died is because there was too many bags on the plane and she didn't want to leave none of the bags. So I'm like, they had the pilot dude was a pilot. The pilot was saying, he was like, man, once you tell somebody that their baggage, first and foremost, I don't even think there's some weird shit going on. I don't think it's just weird. One thing, they don't fuck around with them planes. If the pilot say, hey, I don't think she would have fucked around with no planes either. That's how I know some rotten in the cotton. I don't want to lead the witness, as they would say, or the witness, or lead y'all, and just come out and say, oh, well, I done it already, but I'll be fair about it. And let you decide. But the pilot, first and foremost, the pilot was questionable. He had a questionable background or whatever. But whatever, not judging him, because he was a questionable guy. I'm talking about the one that died in the plane, or who was driving the plane, the other pilot who was in the video. He was saying that you're not even, if you tell the passengers that their baggage is exceeding the weight, or it's too the amount of baggage that they got is too excessive for safe flight, and then they say, well, they still want to go anyway. It's the pilot's responsibility to say, no, I'm not going over. Which makes sense, because if I was a pilot, I'd be the same way. Like, I can't do it, man. That's too risky. Fucking with planes. Uh, so I'm looking at shit. I'm like, yeah, a crop duster. You know, 'cause when it first happened, you know, like uh, you know, you just thinking regular plane thing or whatever, whatever. So I wasn't factoring in. I'm the crop duster thing. You know, because we don't know what the hell. I can't necessarily remember what I was thinking. But I probably was thinking, well, hell, maybe that was just a. I could. I don't know. I just feel like I didn't put it when I was. Cause for one, when she first passed, everybody wasn't all conspiracy theory out like we are now. So. Uh, the conspiracy thing wasn't necessarily I don't want to lie. I think about it, but I just say for the most part, nigga wasn't really looking at it like they killed her. When it first happened, we was kind of just going for it when she died in a plane crash or whatever. But going to jail, coming home, learning about how they really be getting down on our stars. Then you start looking like, well, maybe they did kill her. So I started when he, you know, now that I'm looking at it through the frames, taking what he said with his crop duster shit, because he was going hard on the side. I was like, you know what, this nigga right. A fucking crop duster, bro? What? That Aaliyah on a crop duster? You mean to tell me? Yeah, it just didn't. Something ain't right. With that shit. So I just feel like a dummy. I'm like, damn, I never really thought about that. A fucking crop duster. You just don't. And then it was another dude. He brought Queen of the Damned up. He didn't make. It was almost like he was trying to. He brought it up in the. He brought it up in the beginning of what he was saying. He was like, "Yeah, I like the shit just did the movie," but he didn't say the name or some shit like that. No, that's what it was. That was the weird thing about it. He called it Mistress of the Damned. And he said, yeah, she just had the movie, and then he went to the spiel about her dying, as if he was as if he could see what it took me to see after. This was when she first passed and shit. But it was like he was trying to throw a hint out there, or I get his head knocked off or something, I guess. It was a white guy. So he probably, know the shit how we figuring out how these motherfuckers work now. He probably knew back then or some shit. But they be privy to a lot of more shit than us. Now I'm like, okay. I thought that was interesting. So let's get into this. And we're gonna bring it all back to the Matrix too. Don't think just because it might be a minute before you hear another Matrix reference that we not dealing with Matrix shit. And you'll probably catch on, those of y'all that are real familiar with the Matrix. Some of y'all might have to go back and watch the movie to catch it. If I don't get to it in this segment. Well, I'm going to do it. You're going to get what... You'll see. All right. All right. Now, you look at today's society, right? Of the world, we just say the world. But you look at society. I think you all agree with me if I was to say that this is a conflict-ridden society, right? Generally speaking, we'll take it, bring it home, and go to the hood with it. Gang banging, quote unquote black on black crime. You know, it ain't popular to use that too much no more, but just for lack of a better phrase. And just conflict, period. You know, you wonder where do these negative sentiment of these, why is it like this? I'm going to show you something everybody been missing. You want to know why gang banging is and blacks killing blacks and people, period. But, you know, that shit is kind of it's more of I think we have more of a problem with blacks killing blacks than whites do with whites killing whites or other, because we was programmed to do that, for one. We programmed to do what people do generally just amongst each other, more so. It's the pork. We don't, first and foremost, once white people start running this world, they normalize a lot of things that was not normal to us, as I always tell you. So there's a lot of things that we do, we're born into doing, and we do them thinking this normal shit, or everybody else doing it, so it must be all right, or whatever. But that's not the case. First and foremost, I'll tell you my journey with how I ended up stopping eating pork. I didn't have to become no Muslim, Nation of Islam. I stopped eating pork before I even was introduced to that. Well, was before I even got into all that. And I'm not a Muslim. I'm God body. I'm really higher than God, but we'll just stick with God because that's we'll keep it on the basic level. But so I'll take you back to my childhood. As a kid, periodically I would have the urge to throw up after eating certain meals. But I never knew what it was. Sometimes I would throw up, and then gradually as I got older, it just turned to that nasty, that nasty feeling you get when you want to throw up, but then you get, the more immune you get to shit, the more you're able to tolerate it. Just like drugs, the more you do it, whatever drug or switches you squeeze, the more weed you smoke, the less higher you'll get because you're more immune to it or whatever. So just like with pork, the more you eat it or the more you become accustomed to eating it, the less you become aware or the less sensitive you become to the side effects of eating it because you're becoming immune to it. That's how you get caught. See, me, I'm different. I don't know how everybody else reacts to pork. I'm telling you how my engagement with it. So I never was quite understand, and then you kind of kid, you kind of start thinking that shit kind of normal, like, well, people throw up every now and then, it happens sometimes and shit, or whatever, just you don't know as a kid. That's why it's good to know some shit before you have kids, so you can bring them into this world properly, It's like it's like in psychology when they sit you on the couch, one of the first things they do is ask you about your childhood and your mother, because they understand that a lot of your shortcomings, and not just shortcomings, but a lot of your shortcomings, not just is based off of your upbringing, which is which your parents are responsible for. So to take it back to that's on a mental level, but to take it back to the physical level, it holds true there, because had my people known that this shit is no good, they wouldn't have fed it to me. Hence, I would have never came in contact with the shit like that. But they didn't. They were eating it, brought me into the world, started feeding the shit to me, and the whole wow, this shit is poison. So to a certain degree, you are a product of your parents to a certain degree. Yeah, that's why it's important to find understand your, take what's for you and leave the rest alone. So when you reflect on your upbringing, just because your parents brought you up into something, they go for religion, spirituality, food, all that. Because we have a tendency to think, well, oh, my family been eating ham hock for years. It's a family, but you don't want it. The people, you know, if you somebody that used to eat pork and you stop eating pork, and you tell people who still eat pork you don't eat pork no more, some of them kind of get offended. Think you being uppity. Oh, there you go with them old Muslim shit. Talking that old hustle shit. Yeah. Yeah. Goddamn Muslims got it right on that shit, boy. You better know it. And it's not just them. We didn't eat pork like that. And I know we didn't, just based on how my body reacts to this shit. But I even go to give you one even further. I read somewhere they say, well, the Camites ate pork once a year, which was around Easter or some shit like that. And I think that was in my opinion, that was an overgeneralization. I think maybe a certain group of people probably did that. I'm not sure. I'm not eating this shit for nothing. Easter, Christmas, July, 4th of July, Halloween. No, sir. This shit is disgusting. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So boom, that's the early years of my life. We get up into third and fourth grade. Now fourth grade, I remember that. That little era clearly. My fourth grade year, man, like every Monday, like a nigga used to have a banging headache by the time I got home from school. And it was like every Monday, sitting there trying to watch the goddamn Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with a throbbing headache, wondering why. Now I don't have headaches. The only headaches I get now is if I'm dehydrated or I haven't ate some shit, the hunger headaches. Other than that, I don't get headaches. Throwing up, I don't even remember the last time I threw up, but I can't even remember. Or even having the feeling to throw up. Well, I did have that. Somebody fucked around and cooked that some goddamn barbecued some ribs. They had the corn over the ribs, and the smoke from the ribs was going up the corn. So he was trying to separate the corn from the, because I don't fuck with the shit if it's on I don't eat. If you cook the shit, if you cook the pork, I don't cook the same shit on. You cook some ribs in a barbecue pit and take them out, and then don't change that shit or clean it thoroughly and put some chicken on that shit and cook it. I don't want to fuck with it. I don't eat ribs at all, but I fuck with the corn. They separated the corn. So I picked the goddamn corn up, take a bite of the shit, then I threw up. Spit all that shit out. I grabbed a napkin and threw up just off the. This ain't the meat. It ain't even cooked. This is just from what the smoke put into the goddamn corn. And it threw up. That's some bad shit, boy. So yeah, but yeah, other than that, but I'm gonna tell you how I got to this level. So, okay, time goes on. You know, I start. Like all throughout life, you hear about how Muslims don't eat pork, and all that. Now my introduction to Muslim Islam was Nation of Islam. What I mean by that is, kind of like the Malcolm thing. How he had to go. How he went to Mecca and found out there was other religions that the Nation of Islam is different. As a matter of fact, Nation of Islam, no disrespect to the Orthodox guys, but I gotta keep it a buck. The Nation of Islam is more thorough than Orthodox Islam. All Orthodox religions we use as tools of war. This is why people today have a problem with accepting alternative spirituality if they're stuck in one of those. So when you tell a Christian, well, I'm God body or I'm this, they snuff, they don't say, oh, well, to each his own like we do. And our train of thought is to each his own. I can give you the science. I can tell you what's wrong with that and what you in and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to look at you as less of a person or hold some type of secret envy towards you because you don't believe what I know what I know. But that's what these other people do. But it's based off of that paradigm, if that's the right word to use. Because the same way we were tricked into or forced into these Orthodox religions, what we were forced in this shit through war by the blade. Arabs go take over something, like they took over Egypt. Like they say, Kemet is mostly Muslim now, but it wasn't like that at first. So when they went over there and took over, they basically was on some my way or the highway shit. You either gonna worship how we tell you to worship, or believe what we tell you to believe, or we gonna kill you. So that energy manifests, that same type of mentality manifests through those who still hold those who are in those institutions. So when they were when you go back to the ancient times or back when the proselytizing of this shit began, if you was in Islam, or not just Islam, Christianity, and they religious, you heard of the religious wars. It's not a secret. That ain't nothing esoteric. That's public knowledge. So people who do that today are the spawn or the brainchildren of that mentality. So they might not pull a gun on you and say, you need to worship Allah, bow in the church or something like that. But their mentality, for whatever, is set to where if you don't believe what I believe, then I'm against you, because they think in their mind that they're serving God to some type of high degree by even being willing to fight you because you don't believe in that. That's religious war mentality, as opposed to saying to each his own. Hey, but these people will hold that against you, and if they find some type of way to, and not all, but a lot of I've noticed. That's what I've noticed a lot. So you might find somebody around you acting funny with you or something, or whatever, or doing a little funny shit. They might be cool with you for the most part, or for what you think the most part, or you think the most part. You never know. People harbor so much secret envy in their fucking heart. It's ridiculous. But you may wonder, man, this motherfucker be doing a little sneaky shit, or whatever. You have to ask yourself if you conscious, or not even just conscious. If even if you a Muslim and a Christian, you work with a Christian, and then they say y'all might be cool, and then they find you a Muslim. They might not necessarily blow their cover, but then you might start seeing them do a little shit, little funny shit. It could be because of that. So that's why when I go, I don't even make it my business to just get on no spiritual shit with no any and everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't hide it either, but I'm not going out my way to just be speaking this type of information with any, just say casting pearls of swine. People take offense to that shit though. I've seen it enough time to know that that's a general mentality amongst these type of people. Like and then try to put it in your face like you missing something. Boy, you don't know what you missing. You goddamn pork ribs or whatever the fuck is good. Yeah, I just be like, yeah, I'm good. So okay. So now, and this is a perfect example of knowledge of self. That's what I was trying to. You have knowledge of self as I was trying to tell you about the three in one of the videos. You have knowledge of self as a black man, or anybody. You get to know who you are, black, white, or period. Cause know your history or know yourself as in this particular instance, we're talking about black people. Know yourself as a black man, knowledge yourself as a black man and what that means, knowledge of your personal self just as a person, and then knowledge of yourself on the collective, because we all one, so knowledge of yourself as a collective black whole. But you can apply that to everything. That's why I say, I don't give a fuck what you are. You want to know, it'll help you better navigate in life to know your yourself on you can find out why you do certain things and stuff like that. So you might find yourself, you might like anime or something. You might be an extreme anime fan. You might be black as a million midnights, but might be black, but a big fan of anime or something. And your mama might notice that and come in the room and be like, you really like this Asian stuff, huh? You really big on it. You be like, yeah. And then your mom might say, well, your great-great-grandma was Japanese, or, something like that. That's a connection. So, now when I speak about the body, knowledge of self as far as the body go, I'm paying attention to myself. I'm wondering what the hell is, because I don't know what everybody else's experience is before, but I'm quite sure it's similar. Even if you can front if you want, but I know you be. Problem is they throw up, or for one, I can tell you from experience, the urge to throw up got smaller or lessened as I got older. So you might say, your body just grow up. Somebody who be trying to defend that dumb shit probably say, you just gotta take a little time for your body to adjust to the pork and the pig and the no. The body becoming less sensitive to the side effects of eating pork is not a good thing. It's basically uh, you becoming used to it, but you still suffer certain little things all the way down to your temperament and behavior is affected by this by what you put in your body. So you might have headaches like I had them, or still do. Um, but the thing is, people are not making the connection between the headache and the food, or the stomach problem and the food, but even they tell you, that's one of. But then let me get back to the story, and you'll get what I'm saying. So okay, bam. Uh, so that was fourth grade. Time progressed. Then it got to the point to where, like I say, the urge to throw up was lessening, but it was just one goddamn one form of pig, pork. Every time I ate that shit, so I could eat some. See back, and that's what I'm saying. We don't even know. We so in the dark on shit, and I say that based off of me. I didn't even. I stopped eating. When I finally stopped eating pork, I was still eating pepperonis, not knowing pepperonis are pork or whatever. Now you can get different type of pepperonis now. Turkey pepperoni and all that. But well, at least at the stores, I haven't seen any actual pizza places where they got that alternative. But you can actually get in grocery stores they have so you make your own pizza at home. They can but the section where you get all the stuff to make your own pizzas, they got the turkey version of pepperoni. So I would eat the but I said that to say we don't be knowing. I had to find it out after I was still eating pepperoni, but I had to find out pepperoni was pork after, because when we think of pork, we just think pork chops, ribs, sausage. You would think that, but then at the same time, you don't necessarily identify. Like I said, the big one was pork chops and ribs and shit like that. So I guess I didn't identify the pepperoni, which is a sausage, but I guess I didn't catch on or whatever. It took me a minute to snap to them, like, oh shit, this pork too, because sausages be like all mixed up and shit or whatever. Let me not go there, because I'm finna go somewhere. I'll probably bring that back up. I was just finna tell you about my favorite sausage that had pork in it. Good shit. Real small town called Weimar, Texas. It's the best. I don't eat. It's not the best. It's pork and shit, whatever. But as far as some good shit, but I ended up finding out why it was so good. I found out after I came home from jail, they mixed that shit with deer meat. So that was the part, because I always ate it and I always tasted something about it was different than the average sausage. But I had never ate deer meat before. Well, I ate it, didn't know. I think I got locked up. I found out. Look, I can't remember. I found out that I think that's what it was when I think when I came home, I was like, damn, what's in that? I really what I'm trying to figure out is could you get a version of that sausage that wasn't pork? And that's when I found out it was mixed with deer meat. I was like, okay, that must be the shit that I'm really I'm really digging on the deer part of it or whatever. Um, so anyway, take it back. Uh, but the final draw, first and foremost, uh, we always hear things about pork is bad. And, of course, you got Islam. Uh, but we always, my introduction to Islam was Nation. When I say introduction, I'm not talking about when I went to jail and became a 5%er. Because Nation Islam, 5% pretty much the same thing. It's just so many words. Nation Islam is a little bit more stricter. But it's the same thing though, really. For the most part. But we always heard pork was bad for you. Whispers here and there, we always heard little things. So I was little nuggets, still eating it, but little nuggets is building up. Then you hear how it causes high blood pressure, heart disease, and all this, that, and third. Still going on in life eating shit because we so normalized and accustomed to eating it through family and all this old shit. So, the final, what really made me realize, made me put all of it together was from, we had ordered some pizza one time with Canadian bacon on that shit. And I started to notice that, I don't know what it is about Canadian bacon, but I started to know that's when I really, really figured out that the pork was the source of the upchucking, the throwing up. Because at this point, I was at a point to where it didn't really. Every now and then I get that urge, but it got to the point to where the urge kind of dwelled down, the urge to throw up after eating this shit, right? But then when the Canadian bacon, I think we ate a pizza one day, and I felt like I was gonna throw up after I ate that shit. And I think we ordered another one or something like that, a little bit down the line. And I think that time, when I ate it, good shit for taste-wise or whatever. I ate that shit and then I felt like I had to throw up. I said, it's the fucking bacon or whatever. That's when I really snapped and start pulling up off of it. Then when I stopped, I told one of my homeboys, man, I ain't fucking with that pork no more, bro. And they was like, man, I can't leave my ribs alone or some shit like that. You know, all them damn ribs, man. Whatever, every teach his own. And he got locked up. Now, I hadn't been to TDC yet. That's the prison system down here. I hadn't been yet, so I wasn't familiar with what they ate and shit down there. But I seen it after when he came home and I went down there and I seen what the fuck was going on. But he got locked up. That nigga wrote me a letter. That nigga said, man, he said, I see why you stopped fucking with that pork. That nigga said, he ate a pork patty. Now, if you was to see this shit, this is some disgusting shit. This shit look disgusting. This is pink, little pink slab of meat. Think spam, kind of, but a little not as soft. That shit is, That boy said he ate that pork patty. He said as soon as he walked out the chow house, he said as soon as that sun hit him, he damn near passed out. And that's what broke him up off the pork. By the time I got locked up, I was pretty much done with it all. The Canadian bacon thing was like, I don't know if I was backslide or some shit, or probably backslid because I feel like the Canadian bacon thing happened when he was down there, but I had to. He got locked up 2002, so I had to stop eating the. No, it's just blurry, but it's something like that. But anyway, just the time and shit don't matter. This is how it happened or whatever. I can't remember. I know it had to be '02 because he got locked up in '02, and I had to tell. I told him, unless I told him in a letter, but I don't think I told him. I didn't because I remember him telling me he can stop fucking them ribs. So my journey of refraining from pork started in '02. But I feel like for some reason I feel like the Canadian bacon shit happened in '03 or into '02 or something. No, niggas be, but I don't know. But that's pretty much how the shit went. So by the time I got locked up, I was pork free. While I get locked up, and this is where this is where I became a 5%. Good thing I was already off the swine. I didn't have to worry about the struggle of doing it in commission of becoming God body. Now, first and foremost, the pig. Well, let's take it to the Bible. Because that's one of the craziest phenomenons ever. People who are Christians, or proclaim to be Christians, but still eat pork. You've heard the argument before. Then they try to cover it up with, oh, well, that's the Old Testament. It's like, no. That's we're going to get into it. Where we at? So let's go to Leviticus. You got to bring the Bible out on them. Bring the old Bible out on them. Leviticus. Leviticus. Could pull it up on. I don't want to read out the book. I want to get it straight from the book. There we go. Leviticus. Alright. 7 through 8. Leviticus 11. Chapter 11, verse 7 through 8. And the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be the cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh you shall not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean to you. I don't know what. Let me read the one. I want to read the one that I found on it. What is this? Let me get this right. I like this one a little better. Let me go move real quick. Okay, I'll give you this real quick. In Isaiah, it says mention. Well, this is the overview. Mentioning Isaiah 65, we'll go there in a minute, verse 4, and 66, verse 17 mentions eating swine's flesh as an act of disobedience or an abominable, abominable practice, abominable practice. Excuse me. I'll read the contextual factors. Dietary purity. The law was intended to keep the Israelites distinct and holy and set apart from surrounding nations. Health reasons. Ancient pre-refrigeration pork carried higher risk of parasites and disease. See, let's go back to what I was trying to tell you. Fucking with Left Eye and her, around that time when finding the first one. Pretty much what came through was, if you was to look at the parasites, now don't get me wrong, you did it with meat, you did it with some type of parasites or whatever, to one degree or another. But personally, but I can show you I can show you where we ate meat as Kamites and Africans or whatever. So it wasn't just totally out the window, but it was certain shit you just didn't eat, like pork. You didn't fuck with that. But no, they say this shit here, if you just look at this shit under the microscope and see the type of parasites that is within this shit, you wouldn't even eat this shit if you just see it. So I don't even only imagine. I never looked at it under the microscope, but it's probably some old, probably like a monster or some shit, type of wormy monster. No, I want to find it up. Ain't that something? Some shit on Reddit. Some shit on Reddit says, I don't know, it says most Christians still eat pork even though in the, go there real quick. And she say pork is just not on Sundays. We got some type of meal next to it that says pork is not just Sundays. Now you tell you Monday I used to always have them headaches. But let me